Believe it or not, I actually found a few more bugs that we can talk about in today's video. It's been 2 weeks now since Valve addressed the console command bug and fixed it, but other than that they didn't really take any further actions, and since then we've only seen one further update, which I'm not even sure if we can call this one an update. Yeah, let's kind of include this one in today's video, but only briefly mention it. So apparently they fixed a bug where the bomb can sometimes disappear from the radar, which I wasn't able to replicate, but it's good to see that they've addressed this issue. We've also now received the ability to scrape or remove stickers by selecting the sticker icons under the weapon. I was expecting that this would have worked before, but it actually didn't, so good job Valve, I guess. I'm not really too sure. It's nice it works now. Valve also now allows players to delete empty storage units that have an assigned label, as well as fixing some workshop tools from crashing when compiling maps that contain instances. And this already concludes the update for the 16th of April. Before that, the previous update did a few more things. Most importantly, or most notably, they fixed several cases of these sticky collisions when jumping against surfaces, which most likely led to this awkward moment during the major. Well, at least it seems like I'm not the only one bad with these type of jumps. And according to one of my friends, this also fixed surfing. At least it's a bit better than it was before. The most notable change, however, was the one that Valve made to Counter-Strike items, which other people have already made really fantastic videos about, so I will leave some links in the description down below. Oh, and they also added the Champion's autograph capsule. I guess that's pretty nice. And since we're already talking about these sticker capsules, let's briefly mention the sticker sale, which may be right around the corner, as pointed out by Aquarius on Twitter. Anyways, enough about updates, let's move on to the more interesting things, the bugs of course. Some of these happened to me or enemies during matchmaking, which is why I wanted to include these. I've already sent the reports directly to Valve, so hopefully these will be fixed within the next few updates. Would be good to see. Starting off with a really simple one, a clipping issue on Nuke. Next to Squeaky, when you're standing very close to the wall, your weapon may occasionally clip through the wall. This can also be observed when switching from a grenade to something else. You can see this on screen right now. Also Valve, please bring back r_draw clip brushes. Would be very beneficial. The next one is a bit more interesting in my opinion, because this one gives players somewhat of an advantage. If a player is standing behind a Molotov but in front of a smoke, you can see that the player is getting outlined by the game, which is rather interesting. I'm not entirely sure why this happens. This only happens if you have a Molotov and then a player standing in front of a smoke. You can see this on screen right now. This is quite an interesting bug. Like I said, I'm not fully sure why it happens, but this is definitely something that gives players an unfair advantage, and I'm pretty sure this is not supposed to happen. And lastly, for the bugs that I've personally noticed while playing the game, this one involves the scoreboard. Basically, when you open the scoreboard and select a player, you have this mini profile that appears. If you close the scoreboard fast enough while having the mini profile open, you can make this one stay on screen. This, however, prevents the player from doing basically anything, which means they're frozen in place. You can close out of this by pressing your left mouse, which in return closes the mini profile. However, in some cases, the mini profile is not visible to the player, which makes it almost impossible to know why you're frozen in place. I was unable to replicate this specific scenario, but it happened to one of my friends recently, so I'm pretty sure this is still an issue. Mouse button 1, however, still solves this issue. If this has happened to you, feel free to leave a comment down below. And lastly for today, we have a pretty cool looking bug which involves the smoke grenades once again. We have the fire smokes. This was showcased over on Reddit, so full credits of course to the user that showcased this, but yeah, this one looks pretty fire. No pun intended. Anyways, that's already going to conclude this update video / bug video / bug report video. If you have any suggestions or feedback, feel free to leave them in the comments down below, and I will see you of course in the next one.